In a world where Oklahoma City isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
Dinner!
Honey, I'm coming.
Alright.
Here are the not so okay aspects of living in OKC. Thank you so much for joining us here today. If you made it past that spooky intro, you should know I'm not here to convince you not to move to Oklahoma City. I've actually lived here my entire life, and truly, I absolutely love it. The problem with too many city information videos, and I'm guilty of this myself, is they tend to sugarcoat things. And if you're not careful, new arrivals show up to the city and really don't know what to expect. So all of those other videos are pretty much the frosted flakes. I'm here to give you the classic old grandpa's favorite bran flakes. Sure, they don't taste great, and yeah, they're gonna make you shit your pants. But at least they're honest. Or something. Anyway, I should also note that a lot of things on this list are not really good or bad. They probably are just different from where you live. So listen, there's really no need to be offended and send me a bunch of nasty letters like these ones. For real, my mailman wants his own parking space. I'm looking at you, Angry Chad, Nebraska 475. But okay, before we get into that, if you're thinking of moving to the Oklahoma City area, whether it's in the next few weeks or few months from now, I would absolutely love the opportunity to help make a smooth move right here to OKC. You're gonna find my contact information in the description below, so please feel free to shoot me a call, a text, or an email, or even better, click the link below to schedule a one-on-one video call with me so we can discuss how I can help you buy that perfect home here in OKC. Now, with that out of the way, let's look at the first item on this list. The first line of the Oklahoma song mentions the wind comes sweeping down the plains, not the valley and mountains. And I'm sure that was very deliberate because Oklahoma is flatter than a flapjack. Side note, who says flapjack instead of pancakes? Let's be real honest here. Anyway, despite lacking diversity in our landscape, Oklahoma is also landlocked. For this reason, people moving here from somewhere in the mountains or the Pacific Northwest or, I don't know, somewhere along the coast near a beach, probably gonna find Oklahoma scenery a little bit boring. Also, as the song says, the wind can get pretty intense here as well. But here's the thing, we've got lots of outdoors and parks and lakes here to explore. Lake Hefner and Martin Park Nature Center here in the city are two of my favorites. And as a bonus, for those of you who want to know a secret, we're only about an hour and a half away from the Wichita Mountains, where you can find a wildlife refuge packed with trails and stunning natural beauty. And out there, it has enough topographical diversity that you'll actually forget how flat the rest of Oklahoma is. Also, if you're sitting there wondering who the f says topographical diversity, listen, so am I. The point is, don't let the flatness convince you there's nothing to see here.
Move along, there's nothing to see here.
There is, in fact, lots to appreciate and explore. Did you guys see that they're making a Twister sequel? Well, like the original, the movie is set in Oklahoma where we have quite the reputation for tornadoes. And I can't even argue with that. Our state does have a reputation of extreme weather. But like many reputations, some might not be as deserved as you think. In the 2023 season, Oklahoma experienced 74 tornadoes, and all but 2 of these were under an F3 on the damage scale. Texas, on the other hand, averages between 96 and 137 tornadoes per year. Now, I'm not saying they should film the Twister movies in Abilene. I'm just saying it might be more accurate.
Damn!
Anyway, as I've said many times on this channel, I've lived in Oklahoma City the vast majority of my life and I've never actually experienced a tornado, but I've seen my fair share of watches and warnings, and no lie, they can get pretty scary. But it is good to know that Oklahoma has some of the very best weather technology available in the entire world. And in most cases, this translates into having several days worth of warning. Now, moving on to some other weather extremes, the summers here can feel pretty brutally hot. It's not uncommon for us to see triple-digit temperatures for at least a couple weeks during the summer. Winters here in Oklahoma City, well, despite being mild through most of the season, they can actually get pretty cold. Sometimes we even get these pretty brutal ice storms that can make driving super difficult for a couple days. And even with any snow, it seems like we get a thin sheet of ice. That's always fun. So if you're dreaming of living in a place that's always 75 and sunny, actually the only place I can think of like that is Costa Rica. And that, well, that's outside of my real estate jurisdiction. But on a positive note, here in OKC, we do really have some beautiful falls and mostly mild temperatures through the rest of the year. So for me, it's totally worth it. By the way, if you live somewhere that's really hot or really cold, feel free to let us know how good we have it down in the comments below. This section is brought to you by the letter R, and well, you're gonna be seeing a lot of them if you move here. So you may have heard this, but Oklahoma is a very politically conservative state. We are, after all, located right smack in the middle of the Bible Belt, and we're surrounded by mostly conservative neighbors. I'm looking at you, Texas. To illustrate just how conservative, Oklahoma has voted Republican in every presidential election since 1968. Both of our senators are Republicans, all of our reps are Republicans. Here in 2024, so is our governor. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'm gonna let you decide. I am Switzerland in this video. However, if you're not super conservative, I do want to make one thing clear. Most of the deep red on the map comes from rural counties spread across the state. After all, these counties do account for nearly 2/3 of the state's population. And like many other major cities, OKC is pretty split down the middle. In fact, the last presidential election in 2020 came down to a difference of just about 1%. Oh God, I just remembered it's 2024. Anyhow, in the end, what matters is that you can certainly find like-minded people if that's what you're looking for. And since we're one of the friendliest states in the country, most unwanted political exposure is going to come in the form of bumper stickers. Oklahoma City's flag bears the city's seal, but for years I thought that was a T for tissues.
What have we got here? Comedian, private joker.
And well, that's because we have an extremely high level of allergens here in the state. In fact, until winter hits, allergy sufferers will have to deal with tree pollen, wood pollen, and ragweed. According to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, OKC ranks 5th in terms of most challenging cities to live in. Fun fact, Wichita, Kansas is #1. Imagine being known for hay fever and Pizza Hut. Shout out to thin crust pepperoni. Anyway, OKC's allergens mainly stem from short winters and the fact that most of our state hasn't been steamrolled into concrete. The good news is there are some things you can do to manage them. For starters, as obvious as it may seem, you can stock up on allergy meds. Or I've heard you can take a teaspoon of local honey daily. And even if there isn't much scientific evidence to back up this claim, it's pretty delicious. Otherwise, on high pollen days, you might want to crank up the AC and do some indoor activities, unless you have one of these. Now, I'm sure I've harped on this before, but if you move here, you're very likely going to need a car. For one, OKC is pretty huge. In terms of area, it's ranked 8th largest among US cities. Recent estimates say the city covers over 600 square miles, and the population density is quite low. In 2024, Oklahoma City had a population density of just over 1,100 people per square mile. For perspective, that's 1/27th of what you might find in New York City. So yeah, things are spread out here. Now, we do of course have public transportation, but it's pretty limited when you compare it to other more densely populated cities. Now, it is improving, but it's not quite there yet where you can easily get around without a car. Now, we do obviously have Uber and Lyft, but unless you're into hemorrhaging money, it's not going to be a good idea for daily commutes. Walkscore.com rates OKC 34 for walkability, a 17 for transit, and 40 for biking. By contrast, New York City rates 88, 89, and 69 in those same categories. So if you are making the move here to Oklahoma City, just know you're probably going to need a car, but hey, maybe the lower taxes here can help you afford one. Okay, now if you heard any real deal breakers in there, I hope you enjoy wherever it is that you end up. But if those cons didn't totally scare you off and you'd like to watch more OKC videos to learn more, start with this one. And guys, as always, until next time, I certainly hope to see you soon. See ya.